Until 3 weeks ago, the people who live in this house at Dipton in County Durham could draw the curtains in the morning from this window and from the companion window down there and get a pleasant glimpse of the Derwent Valley to the right, and in front of them the garden and bungalow of their neighbours. This is the view they get now when they pull the curtains. Two solid brick walls, 12 feet high, completely covering both windows. They've been put up so close to the walls of the house that you can just get your fingers in by the next door neighbours. It is Mrs. Axon who has had her windows blocked out because her neighbour says the Axon family could look out into the neighbour's house. This is the neighbour who has built the walls, Mrs. Johnson. Both women are not only willing but anxious to state their case because brief accounts have already appeared in the local papers. Neighbours' quarrels are normally nobody else's business, but when dislike takes such extraordinary and visible shape, a private quarrel was bound to become public property. Were they looking a lot into your house?
Well, it didn't matter when you sort of went into your rooms, even if you went into the wardrobe for your coat. There was always someone there. I don't know why, whether it was all deliberate or what, but mind, you just couldn't help but say that they were looking in. We're starting to feel embarrassed about it all. And then that put paid to it. My husband decided that we would have the real privacy, and that's the reason that the walls are up. And another thing, they're only passage windows. I don't know what all the song's about. They're only passage windows.
Well, how do you know they won't knock your wall down?
They'll be for it, because it's private property.
Yeah.
And when all's said and done, it's a boundary wall.
Must have cost quite a bit of
money,
that.
Well, hubby said in the region of about £80.
Is that so?
Yes. And when all's said and done, if they only had put frosted glass in, they would have had the sunshine and the light in.
Now,
but no.
You did ask them?
Oh, yes. They've had letters from 2 solicitors asking them to put the frosted glass in, and they just wrote back and told me to get net up. But why should I put net up at these windows when we've got such a marvellous view over the Derwent Valley? I've got the big draw curtains, but that's all that's going up. I'm not putting net curtains up, not for anybody.
Yeah, but one of the troubles is, Mrs. Johnson, that that's not the end of it. You see, look, they can look into your garden from their garden.
Yes.
Or when they're walking down, there's steps there, they can see into some of your windows.
Yes, but now they wouldn't see as much as what they did before.
Well, you can't do anything about that, though, can you?
No, we can do later on.
Oh?
Yes, we can build another wall right down there if we want.
Are you thinking of doing that?
Yes. In fact, I'll tell you now, there's a 6-foot fence going up from top to bottom.
So?
Yes, definitely.
A solid fence?
A solid fence, a wood solid fence that's going right down there to the bottom.
You're a woman that likes privacy, I can see.
Definitely, yes.
But no, you got planning permission for these walls?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes, we've done everything legal.
Mm-hmm.
And even one of the men from the council came. I showed him through from the bedroom windows the bother that I was having. Yeah. And they said straight up, yes, Mrs. Johnson, you've got the plan.
Now, May, there's another way of looking at it, Mrs. Johnson. If you did take the wall down, wouldn't it be rather nice to get back to friendly terms with
No,
them?
never, because it's already been said to one of her friends that she'd drop down dead first before she spoke to me. When they get on a high horse, they get on a high horse. But I can fight for the next door neighbour anyway and turn round the next minute and speak friendly again. But not these lot. They want to be dogmatic, and they're staying dogmatic, and they can stay like that for me.
I'm told you've got your own name for the wall.
Oh, yes, the Berlin Wall. We used to say Berlin Wall's got nothing on this, so that's its name.
Now, you see, the Johnsons complained, Mrs. Axon, that it wasn't just the normal occasional accidental look out into their house, but, you know, that you were always pretty well looking out. Every time they looked over, there was somebody looking in.
Well, I wonder if Mrs. Johnson can explain how she knew we were looking out if she wasn't looking at me. Because if she saw me, I never saw her.
Now, they did ask you, didn't they, Mrs. Axon, to put up opaque windows?
The point is, they didn't ask. We got a letter from them, but you wouldn't say they asked. They demanded within 14 days.
Now, what would you reply to that?
We didn't reply. We didn't do anything about it.
Are you not a bit sorry now that you didn't, in fact?
Well, we weren't speaking. How were you supposed to attack a situation?
Uh-huh. I've been told that the Johnsons actually offered to pay for putting opaque glass in your windows. In fact, that they offered to do the whole job for you.
Oh, yes, but the whole point of that was she was telling you what to do. I mean, if you complain about somebody presumably looking at you, you attack a situation from your own angle first. You don't tell the other people what to do. You try to remedy the situation yourself.
What do you think they should have done then?
If she thought anybody's looking at her, she'd put a piece of lace curtain up, couldn't she?
Yeah, that's true enough.
Why
do you think she wouldn't put a lace curtain up?
Because she didn't want to do anything quite like that. She wanted to annoy us.
On the other hand, Mrs. Action, you could have saved all this trouble by putting in opaque glass at the start.
Oh, granted, we might have, but that was just pallying to her domineering nature.
Well, now, it's worth trying, Mrs. Action. If it comes off, this will be the first time you two have spoken together for 2 years, won't it?
Yes, it will be.
Mrs. Axton's prepared to talk it over. You know, there's a basis for making a fresh start now. You take the wall down and give them back their light. They'll put opaque windows in and give you back your privacy.
Who's going to pay for all of that bother?
Well, you could come to an agreement.
They would do all the cock crowing then if that was pulled down now, but they're not having it.
You could come to an agreement about the cost. Supposing they paid for the cost of taking the whole wall down and putting the opaque windows in, would you agree?
No, they've had that chance 12 months ago for to put it in. They watched that wall getting built so far up each time that the bricklayer came up, and they still had that chance then for to put it in. But no, they have to wait till the wall is absolutely finished, then contact their solicitors to do something about it. So it's no good at all.
What do you say about that, Mrs. Action?
Well, there's a few criticisms I would like to say. In the first place, I never watched the wall go up because I was never there to see it go up. It was done when I wasn't there, for a start.
It was
I certainly didn't watch it going up. Every time I came back, a bit more had been put up.
Yes, but you knew it was getting built up.
Well, I couldn't very rarely stop it, could I?
But how do you two neighbours feel about going on living year after year in this state of enmity?
I'm not bothered.
What about you? Do you like it?
Well, somebody must have been bothered more than us to bother to put walls up. I wasn't sufficiently interested to know whether anybody could see me or not.
But wouldn't you be better pleased if this state of affairs could somehow be ended?
But you can't do that with people like that. It's an impossibility.
It seems it is, Mrs.
It is an impossibility.
Sorry, Mrs. Johnson. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.